This is the last attempt at making this freaking video. I've tried to make this video several times. It never could come out right. And I think this is the one. So as you can see, the title of the video are obstacles, right? I'm going to play with the variation of the title. You'll see it when you watch it. But I want to talk about obstacles today. And I want to talk about a culmination of things that all kind of been what we're talking about. So as people, this is not even just as men, just as people in general, we struggle with talking about obstacles. It's because I want to start with the root. We weren't raised properly, right? The previous generation didn't know how to raise kids because they weren't shown love. They were just shown, physical care. Then that trickled down into financial care. So our parents only thought, well, I'm getting them financial things. They didn't have the emotional. And what we're having an issue with obstacles in our life as they ramp up, because I think I'll get into that. The matrix is ramping up. They never taught us emotional tools. So what we're seeing is, like, for example, like, really think about it. Did your parents care that you learned how to ride a bike? Did they care you learned how to swim? Like, honestly, like, really, have they ever been like, I'm so happy you learned how to swim. So happy you learned how to ride a bike. So happy you picked up these skills. No. They did it simply because of the individualistic, narcissistic society we live into, where they only got those things because they didn't want all the other families to say that their kid didn't have those things. So that's why when you get older, they say, I financially supported for you and I did this for you. And that's another reason why your parents put you down. I know a lot of people's parents, mine included, who put their kids down like, oh, you'll never be anything, or, you didn't really work hard. I helped you, like, in a sense of, like, financially. Like, they didn't really do any of the work. They just, they have to demean you because we're such in a narcissistic society that even our family, which you see it all the time, our family doesn't even want you to do anything good with your life. They'd rather you struggle than help you out because they'd rather know that they are better than someone. That's all this is about. This is all going to tie into obstacles. So I just wanted to get that part out, right? And it's crazy because I know so many parents that are like that. Like, how are you jealous of your own kid? Insanity to me. Like, think about it. Like, my obstacle, and now I'm talking about the obstacles. My obstacles, I've had several, but one of the big ones is, and this is why we don't take obstacles seriously, is I dropped out at 19 and I didn't go back to school till 23, 24. So for 5 years, I did nothing except be a bum. But building off of previous videos, men don't talk about anything. There was nobody, not even my parents in my life were like, yo, you really need to go back to school. What's your plan if you drop out? What's the plan? Nobody, like, that's where we're at. And I'm making this video because, like, I want people to see in their own life. Like, don't get mad at me when you're watching this video. Like, I want you to see in your own life what the obstacle is and how do we address it. And I'm going to get into, like, what the roots of a lot of those things are too as well. But like I said, nobody helped, like, nobody, like, gave me any direction. You know why? Because my parents don't want me to be better than they are. Man, I told both my parents, like, it was actually hilarious. Like, so I just got, like I said, things are starting to look up, but, things were looking down for, like, forever in my life. I've had a very just down life. Nothing ever worked out, and things are finally starting to work out. And it's so funny how, like, my family reaction is there's no reaction. They don't even want to be like, oh, good job. You know what I mean? Because they're so used to wanting me to fail. Like, even my girl, I think her dad was like, oh, well, you didn't really work hard for what you got. Yeah, you did all the work. And he likes to think he's smarter than everybody because he didn't do that. It's just what they do. So, but anyway, moving forward. And I wanted to note, like, we need to get to the root of these obstacles because we don't take them seriously, and we only look at obstacles as like, oh, once you hit this next milestone, you're going to hit another obstacle. Because we look at obstacles like roadblocks, right? But we look at them and like, the more success you have, the more obstacles you're going to have. But we're not even looking at them like realistically and like, well, what is the obstacle going to be? How long is it going to be? Did we account for a 5-year roadblock? 5 years? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for everything right now, but like starting my life at 29 compared to 25 would have been dope. Like starting my life in that sense. Like obviously I was living, but you know what I mean? And we could have, if I had some guidance or help, that 5 years could have turned into 2 or 3. We need to look at the root cause, right? So that's why I want to put this video out. Like I want to make sure that we don't get on these long benders of a time period of doing nothing because we get in this mentality. And we got to look at where does the mentality, what is the root emotion? On some 7 deadly sins type of thing. Like, what is the root emotion? Is it pride? Is it envy? Is it gluttony? And it's really real. And you're going to say fear, right? You're going to be like, whoa, it's fear of failure. Well, fear of failure is just pride. You don't want your pride to get hurt. So, boom. Any argument about if it's not a 7 deadly sin, you lost that one. Right? If you're comparing yourself to others, there you go, envy. If you want the world, but you don't know how to get it, that's gluttony. So what you'll do is you'll take that same energy. This is the funny thing, is the same energy, gluttony, any of the 7 deadly sins, that's the thing. The 7 deadly sins, they're deadly sins because they can be used any which way, right? So I'll explain. You can, the same billionaire, right? Let's say we all have pride or gluttony. Gluttony, the billionaire, Jeff Bezos, he's glutton. He wants the world. Well, he internalized that emotion and he got everything he wanted. The same person, gluttony, who wants the world, realizes that he doesn't have that work ethic to get it. He eats himself to death. The same person who has that mentality uses drugs and destroys himself. It's the same. They're the same person in different bodies. It's how you harness that emotion, that energy, if you succumb to it. And that's what I'm saying. Like for me, like that 5-year obstacle, it was like I succumbed to the pressure of pride, right? I didn't want to fail. And I was also letting others around me dictate how I was being perceived, which is really which is a mix of lust, because I did want, at the time, like everyone to perceive me in a way, which is lust. You just want the ability to get the things. So, I hope this video is making sense, because it's just the reality we live in, man. Like, the Matrix is ramping up. Matrix is ramping up. These obstacles are getting faster, hitting you faster. They're going to be longer, they're going to be shorter, they're just going to keep coming in numbers. It's up to you. Good morning. And one thing we need to do is we need to realize the emotion we're sitting in. Every lesson, every obstacle is a lesson you need to learn to overconquer for whatever the emotion is. We use, like, a lot of this stuff is new age. It's really just pride. All of it's just pride. Fear of rejection, pride, things like that. But we need to look at the emotions so that we can overcome it. And I feel like there was a time period where, if your parents taught you the emotional intelligence that you had as a kid, you'd be able to recognize all the, emotions in you. And that's why one path you need to do to overcome goals or obstacles is set like 2 goals, small goals, and not like the fucking Jordan fucking Peterson make your bed type shit. Like, I'm talking about, like, if you want to do one thing, the goal is to get to this thing, but what are the things you need to knock out in the way? So let's say you need to lose weight, and you need to, I'm just saying, like, from my example, lose weight, pay off debts. okay, well, I'm going to do those two things. I'm going to work towards those two things. And then when those two get under control, I'm going to add the third thing. And that's like the stepping stone, the step to then get to the fourth thing. Then when we get to the fourth thing, we drop the third thing, right? So we still got losing weight. Debts are done now, so that's dropped. So now you only got two things. You only got losing the weight, or if you already lost the weight, but now it's maintaining it. And then the next thing is you have the job, and it's already paying off your debts. So you're chilling. Really? And then the last thing is the fifth thing is where you wanted to be. But if you try to do all five at once, that's when it just goes left. Hold on. Good morning. Sometimes when I pass people, it throws off my vibe. But so the reason why you want to do two instead of like trying to have all five envisioned in your plate or however many goals it is then you get overwhelmed, then you get angry at others. And it's not even anger at others, it's you're angry at yourself. Every emotion is just towards yourself. I hope everybody realizes that. Every emotion you have is really pointed towards yourself, okay? If you're angry at somebody else, it's because you're angry at something in your life because it's not going the right way or it's not working out the way you want it to. If you hate somebody, it's because of you don't like yourself in what area? What does that person remind you of in your area in life? I hope this video makes sense. I really do care. I hope this video resonated because, I'm trying to work on myself and I want everybody else to work on themselves too. I try not to be preachy all the damn time, but it's like trying out here and I'm not any better. I know people probably have a perception of me. They get on and they think, oh, he's only making the video when he's walking because he can look a certain way. It's like, no, I'm only making this video because this is when I get the best time. It's the only time I have, and I get the best thoughts. Sometimes it's okay to take a pause. Because if you're watching the video, you're gonna watch the video regardless. Doesn't matter if I pause for 15 seconds. I'm just saying, like I see people, I just feel like we're just so lost as a society, and I feel that weight of the lostness on me, and I feel like I need to do something. And I understand that's the point. The whole point is that is the trap. The trap is for me to feel like I need to do something for that. That's why they create that. And I understand that. You're going to create this loss, so then you have a bunch of people who give their whole beings to that, and they think they made a difference. See, that's the thing. I'm not caught up in all that. Like, I'm making a difference. Bullshit. I've never believed any of that. Like, how like teachers and nurses got like super propagandized, like that they're important. Like, I'm gonna be a teacher. I am a teacher. I don't think I have the hardest job in the world, and I don't think I have the most important job in the world. Because I understand that the system creating it is going to create it because there's going to be a need for it always, because they keep creating it. But if we can get to the root and realize, hey, it's being manufactured, but everybody has emotional tools available, then none of it would matter. It would fade away. It'd be like, damn, they're all smart. What the hell do we do now? You can't get caught up in these narratives, these games. And that's another thing. Once you get caught up in these narratives, it's over for you. No matter how much of a free thinker you think you are. That's why, a lot of the spiritual and truth community conspiracy community, you can cut it off if you don't believe in any of the spiritual conspiracies. They're like, I don't need any more knowledge because I know how the system's going to do everything and I know I'm good. Listen, when that smoke was outside and it was red on the ground and it was red right in front of me looking like Blade Runner 2049 out front of my house, I said, holy shit, something's really happening out here. And for that second, they got you. Granted, I didn't do nothing, right? Stayed my ass in the crib. But if for that second, if you were to panic and you were to go to the store or you were to go drive somewhere, they got you. And this is how conspiracy you got to be. That's why I said you got to cut it off. Because if you don't believe that they can get you at any moment, then you really don't understand that you limited your brain. They tell you in all the movies. The whole point of Mr. Anderson in The Matrix is to tell you he'll come into anybody, any person, and fuck up your day. Anytime. When you least suspect it, man, he's just like, I'm just chilling. I got to fight another Anderson? God. World War Z, a zombie outbreak breaks out. He goes to the grocery store. They go to the grocery store to get something I can't remember. And his wife almost gets raped in the store. You know, if you're watching the movie like a regular person, you're like, damn, people are crazy. If you're watching it from a spiritual lens, they're saying, hey, any action you make, they're gonna get you. And these conspiracy spiritual people think they're just ungettable. Nope, I'm good. I'm protected. I'm good. No, you can't even have your guard down for a second out here. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys about the world, which is why we can't let these obstacles get us down. We got to keep it pushing. They're ready to get us at any moment. Any moment. And even if they do get you, you got to stay freaking strong. We need to communicate through everything. Communicate every step of the way. It's okay to communicate. It's okay to ask for help. That's why, listen, last thing I'll say. That's why the MAGA and the return movement are a thing, because, like I said, the individual and narcissistic communities and vanity and perception, consumerism. We want to go back to the past because we're too afraid to see what the future may look like. They'd rather give it up already. We didn't even try, but they're too afraid to try because we created a society that's afraid to fail, which is a bunch of prideless or prideful beings. And that's our downfall today. I'm dropping bars low key. Yeah, that's it. That was a bar. I'm gonna go because I don't think I can top that. All right, y'all. Be safe. Talk to you later.